Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm Barry Kostrinsky, president of Artist Talk on Art, the ATOA. This is our 70th virtual open studio. As many of you have heard 70 times in a row, this is our response to COVID, using this Zoom platform. We will be going back to live talks at 12 West 12th Street. I believe it's October 4th. It's the first Monday in October. It'll be posted soon on our website. And at the same time, we will continue this Zoom platform. Artist Talk on Art. We've been around since 1975. We are the longest running dialogue on the visual arts across the country. And of course, if you look at our website, atoanyc.org, you could see the list of artists that have spoken. And yes, there are over 6,500. But indeed, many of the big names in the art world are there. But one thing I like is Artist Talk on Art is about offering a platform for artists who may not have a voice. And I think, as we all know, you know just about every high Renaissance artist because there were only great ones and history seemed very tight there. On the other hand, today in the contemporary art world, there are a lot of excellent artists who deserve a voice. And I think what we've done over these last 70 talks on Monday is we've given voice to people who certainly deserve it, whether these artists, and many of them have been in group museum shows or had solo shows. Some of the artists have even been in the Venice Biennale. They're all worthy, and I think we serve a great function when our platform is used for artists to share. Things we do unique here, you don't have to ask a question, you can make a statement. If you see somebody's art and you want to say something about it, you don't have to phrase it in a question. Go ahead, you can jump right out and say it. Yes, there'll be time for questions at the end of each speaker. I figured it out. We have 10 speakers. Everyone has 30 seconds to speak. Now, you'll all have at least 5 minutes. Guaranteed we'll go over. All of our talks are captured on our YouTube channel, which is under the full name Artist Talk on Art. And this talk will be there, so if you have to leave early, feel free to go there at your leisure. Again, thank you all for your time and for coming. That really is our most valuable commodity. And keep in mind, there is a chat function if you like to put any information, website links, comments. I will occasionally read from the chat, but do feel free to engage any of the speakers with questions, thoughts, or positive comments. A lot of what we do here is real content comes out, but at the same time, we encourage each other, we reinforce each other. And that's something that unfortunately is missing a lot, not only from the art world, but from this whole world. And I think that's one of the best things we've got. I have to say hi to Myra and ask Mariah, are you coming in from Venice? Let me ask you to unmute. Are you coming in from Venice?
Hi, Barry. I know,
Hi.
I'm in Elba right now. Elba Island.
All right, so I will let you go second, given you're on a time shift and you're probably much later than we are. I will say we'll start off tonight with Wendy Liss. This format tonight, we have about 10, 11 artists. They'll all present for between 5 to 10 minutes. And I'd like to say we've seen Wendy's art before. Feel free, artists, to share what you're doing currently. If you want to share something you've done in the past, anything at all. We look forward to it. We will have technical difficulties. We always survive them. And Wendy, welcome. Everyone feel relaxed and comfortable. We like to sort of, embrace that feeling. We're all peers and we're all friends.
Okay, well, thank you for having me this evening. For those of you that don't know me, I am a Philadelphia artist, a sculptor, primarily working in ceramic, and I'm just going to take you around. I just want to pick up where we left off last time because I had some pieces that were in progress that are now finished. And we spoke a lot about bases last time, what to place these objects on. And so I spent some time this summer, searching for surfaces. We talked about rocks and wood, and I really have spent this summer getting bigger in my scale and working with some mixed media. So just to say that, because it's hard to talk and walk. I'm just gonna walk you around my studio. I don't do screen share yet.
I do want to remind everybody, we are a 501c3. All our talks are free. If you'd like to contribute, you can go to our website. And I do want to thank and acknowledge Fran Beallor, one of the board members of the ATOA, was present. Welcome, Fran.
So this is a piece that you saw in progress last time that is on a metal base. So I just wanted to share with you some of these bases that I found: wood, stone. And then when I was out looking for the stone, I found some broken pieces that this piece I didn't actually make, but it's just balanced on there, but I just loved it. It looked like one of my forms. This is a sailboat that I made for a friend, which I really like on the stone. Now, of course, last time I had the metal bases and the work was up high. These are all grounded. But the thing I really wanted to share today is some bigger projects that I'm working on that are in progress. And the thing that started it, I got a commission for a sink. So I made 3 sinks this summer, and I really enjoyed, using my forms and creating something functional. This is a piece that I just found that just reminded me of one of my pieces. So there's something about that found object that, I don't know, it just made me realize that there's certain forms that I'm just attracted to, whether I make them or I find them. Okay, I'm switching to vertical now. This is a bigger piece, and my son is here. He's going to hold so you can see how big I am getting, because it's hard to tell in this picture. But I did a wood fire for the first time, and I don't know if you can tell, but it's real. It glistens. The surface is really, and there's no glaze. That's all just from the wood ash.
I will read a comment. Janice Telstar says that sink is stunning, and I love your bases. They complement your work beautifully. Mariah Cazoon says these works are so beautiful. Fran echoes the thought that the sink is beautiful. It is gorgeous. And Jenna Lash, beautiful work is what she says. Fran also says form meets function. And certainly there's something nice about making something that has usage and you're involved with. Certainly at the heart of ceramics, it was functional objects. And Robert Halpern says, I love the natural stone and wood surfaces that you're using for your pieces. Great work.
Yeah, so the thing that, that I think about a lot is if the base should be an actual part of the piece or the piece is sitting on the base, So I really would like to find the right solution where I can find something from nature that is actually integrated as part of the finished piece. So that's what I'm playing with. But the thing I really wanted to say and share and show you is the fact that during this period of confinement, I have found it very freeing, and my soul, my work just feels freed at this moment. And an opportunity came for me to create a self-portrait. And I am making a 6-foot self-portrait totem that it's a bit of a paradox, feeling freed from being confined. But as artists, I think we know that sometimes in limitations, you do a painting with just values of one color, or you just do a line drawing, or, examples where we are limited, it can be very freeing because we're not so overwhelmed by all of the other things. So this is what I'm very excited about. I'm working on it. I still have a month to finish it, but I just wanted to share because I found this tree trunk that, is representing this feeling of groundedness. And, certainly when you're grounded, you are confined to one spot, but free to grow and wander. So that's what this base represents. And then I'm still building different shapes that I'm going to stack. So this is a work in progress. But this part, this is going to be the top, and this represents, my physical body. And the wire is my energy, my life force that's moving out of the physical space. So the thing I really wanted some feedback on, because I'm just playing with this right now, the use of thicker wire, and then here I unraveled to create, where it just feels more energetic, but I don't want it to be too busy. This is the part I'll play with really at the end on site, because this hasn't been glazed yet, but I just wanted to show you, because this is the biggest piece I've made and fired in my kiln. And you can see the self-portrait, those of you that know me, that's my hip and my belly. So I like that it feels human and feels like me without looking like a realistic depiction. And that's what I wanted to show you. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy.
But can you really see it?
By the way, if you go ahead and pin Wendy or any of the speakers, use the 3 dots, click it. If you pin them, they will go full screen. But yes, we can see it. I just want to read a few comments. Sandra Indig, says she loves the contrast of materials. Monroe Hodder, it's beautiful, unglazed, very personal. Fran Beallor, love the idea of this symbolic mixed media self-portrait. And Teresa Val, she loves the comment, life force. And one more comment, Alice Zinnes, when the bases are also organic, the 2 parts feel quite connected. With the one you're standing behind now, where the base is a vertical tree, it feels like a base holding a sculpture. With the tree base, the connection feels more conceptual as against formal. And I'll have to say, Barbara Sherman says, beautiful work. Whether you think the base is disconnected for the form or not, when a viewer looks at the work, the eye does not draw the line. Brancusi was well aware of this. Look at his bases. I think every artist every sculptural artist struggles with it, and you're probably best to incorporate the base into the design, because the eye will see them as one. Thank you, Wendy.
Well said, Barry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Very nice. We're going to go to Mariah Cazoon. Mariah, welcome. And I'll ask you to unmute. You know our format. It's about a 5 to 10 minute. I will say Mariah has presented before. And by the way, our Library of Talks are on our YouTube channel. So welcome, Mariah.
Hi, Barry. If that's okay, I'm just going to join and not present anything today.
Okay, very well. That was quick. Thank you. Very good. Let me just, and then will move to Fran Beallor, again, a board member of Artist Talk on Art. Welcome, Fran.
I just had to run to the other room. Did you just call on me? Am I next?
Yes, yes. If that's okay.
That's fine. So let's see. Can I share the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Great. So I am going to do a little slideshow. And I'm going to show some of my new work and some work from last year. Okay. Whoops, that's not what I want to share there. Where am I? Here we go. It's odd. Are you seeing my work?
Actually, it just stopped. We were seeing screen sharing and then it jumped off. Do you want to try again? Just populate the screen with what you want before you share, maybe.
I thought I had it up and ready to go. Hold on. Okay, you know what? I think I had it full screen, but it doesn't seem to like that. So I'm going to start it not full screen, and then I'll go to full screen once I'm done. Whoops. That's not me. That's Lothorial. I think she's doing that by accident. So Barry, you can stop that share.
Okay.
Phew. Okay, adventures in screen sharing. All right, take two. Here we go. I think this will work. Okay, now you can see this, right?
Yes. Good
Okay.
job.
Great. So now I'm just going to make it full screen and everyone should be able to see it. Ah, there we go. Yes, you can see that. Okay. So I have 3 works right now in a show at El Barrio Art Space, in a show called Women Celebrate Women. And I'm excited about these works because they're something a little new and different for me. El Barrio Art Space, by the way, is on East 99th Street between 2nd and 3rd Avenue. And the show is up through September 3rd, and there are 71 artists in this show, Women Celebrating Women. So this drawing is different for me. It's done on layers of Duralar plastic. So some of them are transparent and some are translucent, and separating them into different layers is something I've been thinking about trying literally for years. And not that long ago, I found this black and white photo of my mother taken a long time ago, and I found it long after she died. And it just stuck with me. I felt very compelled to create a piece out of it. So in this piece, I think about the warrior within the woman that doesn't always come out, certainly didn't come out in my mother in the 50s. But as soon as I saw this photo, well, I had these 2 different reactions. One, that she was waving farewell to me, but the other was like she was a warrior holding her arm upraised. And so the transparent layer in the front of the armor, it's almost like an apparition. It's not quite connected, it's moving. And so this is done 4 different layers. So this is one piece that's in the show. The next piece I'm going to show is, so this is, I have also 2 drawings from my Unfinished Women series in the show. And for these, I used a combination of different sources for creating the drawings. They're not one particular person, but more of an invented character. And I think of them in a kind of literary way. I've been thinking them as the way an author invents a character. I'm inventing the character here. I even went as far as to go to a thrift store and get thrift store dresses that I thought would match the character. And so the mat is covered with the fabric from this dress. You can see the dress in the photo here in this drawing called Uplift. And the next one is, go. This one is called Hands. So I was trying to give more of a feeling of the personality through hairstyle, gesture, features, even the freckles. I was a little bit obsessed with freckles at the time, and I added freckles on the face. But the drawing is done in pencil, and again, it's surrounded by the fabric of the dress that I chose that I thought this woman might wear. Now, I'm excited about showing at El Barrio Art Space because in January, I'm going to have a solo show of my self-portraits, which I've shown here at different times over the last COVID year. I was working on them last year. This is a self-portrait a day 2020. Now, of course, it's 2021, and I was supposed to have this show in January of 2021, but because of COVID, it was postponed. So it's going to be in January of 2022. And I just picked out some of the drawings because I realized how much COVID had such an influence, not surprisingly, on this last year. And so it just shows up in a bunch of my drawings in different ways. So it's just this ever present thing. Even in this drawing on the right where I was hiking, and there really was a swarm of dragonflies around me. When I later looked at it, I thought, oh my God, it's like COVID hovering in the air. And others from the series. I did a whole bunch of drawings where I used the phone as a part of kind of symbolic, so many ways and things that the phone is symbolic of. And when we're stuck at home, it helps us transport us to other places, but we can also feel very trapped inside of the phone. And so you get both those images in this particular drawing.
I do want to read a few comments.
Okay.
Jenna Lass says, congrats on the upcoming show, Fran. Mariah Cazoon, the warrior drawing is such a great tribute to women. Have to agree with that. Janice Telstar, very interesting use of textiles and fabrics. Very smart, textile like that in the background is a very smart idea. Barbara Sherman, do you have models for these two portraits or are they made up? They're very compelling women. I'll let you answer.
So I had partial models. I mean, I used some various photographs, but in the end, I took away the photographs and finished them, tried to give them my own character.
And Alice Zinnes, and sorry for pronouncing her name wrong earlier, she says, your mother piece is so poignant with many layers of history and meaning within it. And I can't stress how much you need to bite into your work. There has to be an emotional investment. And when there is, certainly with works of family, you're going to express something deeper. That's at least how I feel, because those are emotionally charged subjects. And seeing your mother as a warrior is certainly a beautiful homage to her.
Thank you. So in this portrait, I'm lost in the crowd, and the crowd is lost in COVID. And in this other one, I'm in a spacesuit, which is protecting me from the elements. Because sometimes I felt like going out in the world, I needed to put on that spacesuit. Now, I think I have 2 more drawings, but some other pieces. Yeah. Okay. So a couple more from the series. But Barry, I couldn't leave without showing some of the photographs from Body Painting Day as well. So I'm gonna leave on that note. So on June 25th, it was Body Painting Day in New York, for anyone who hasn't seen my Instagram feed lately. And I took part for the first time, and it was Barry who introduced me to Andy Golub, who runs the organization called Human Connections. And he gets people from around the world to come and be canvases and to paint each other. And I got to partake of this amazing event. This was probably the most fun thing I've done in years, and I can't wait to do it again. And here is my finished piece. So it's interesting. I had a very different idea for what I was going to do on this piece. For weeks, I was planning it, and then literally the night before, I had a dream, knocked everything out of the water, and I knew exactly what I was going to do. And so this crazy black and white bullseye design happened, all revolving around this wonderful cat mask, and I don't know, fruit flying all over. So that's what I was doing on June 25th.
Thank you, Fran.
Thank you so much for the
Allison,
time to share.
Allison Zinnes says, Fran, such great variety of emotions in your self-portrait. And Teresa Valla says, Fran, I appreciate your mother and the layers of emotion. And Robin Halpern says as well, congratulations on both shows. Oops. Can you post the address or links for the shows? So everybody feel free to use the chat to put anything you like in. We're going to move on to Alyssa
I'll do that,
Pritzker.
thanks.
Alyssa, thank you, Fran. And we'll move on to Alyssa Pritzker. Alyssa, welcome, and thanks for being a large part of our group, always sharing your thoughts, and of course, sharing your art with us tonight. Welcome, Alyssa.
Thank you, and I'm really pleased to talk a bit after Fran and Wendy. I see them many times, and I feel closer to them because of, thank you to you, Barry, for ATOA. And many of you know that I'm an Argentinian American artist. I don't have, my accent is very clear that, you know, I have something there. So, but I'm saying because I want to tell, I already presented in ATOA, but I want to say that some of you that don't know me, I am initially inspired by the Selk'nam people of Patagonia. And my art, I will share a screen and I will show a few pieces, new ones, if it is possible. I was saying that my art invokes a primal aesthetic through my own imagined iconography. And I want to say before I begin with the images that my research about the Selk'nam taught me how to live a simpler life, be much closer to nature and to reuse all the resources that I have. It's a long period of research and transform not only my art, but also my life.
No question about it. That is art at its best when a viewer is transformed by seeing it. And likewise, when you as an artist, you grow emotionally and spiritually. Nice to hear, Alyssa.
Well, thank you, Barry, for putting this. And I will start with your creation. Thank you for promoting all of us. I took my piece. As you can see, nature is in many of my work. And I also wanted to just mention that I believe that the past has crucial and essential clues about human life. And in my work, I'm proposing to explore into the past for a better understanding of our present and our future. This is an idea for an upcoming installation, and it's a draft, an idea that I have proposed for an upcoming exhibit next year. The installation that part of the installation are these archaeological tablets, and these happen to be by walking on the beach, and I found pieces of tile and pieces of brick. And I felt like an archaeologist. I said, well, I'm finding something. It's like digging into the past, and I collect all these pieces and I kept painting on them. You can see them closer now. There are so many different parts of tiles and clay and anything that I found. As I said, I'm inspired by nature and reusing everything that I just bump into it. And you can see closer. I'm kind of going from the bigger picture to a closer. And these are all small, and they all together for me gives the idea of like an anthropological finding. It's the same that if you go to an excavation and you find pieces of pot or parts of history that they will give you clues of how we live in certain times. This is a piece of can, a lid that I found also. And I painted with my, as I said, my Imagine iconography. These are seeds that I was graciously given by my daughter and her husband. I always mention to my friends that since I began painting objects from nature, I don't get any more gifts, regular gifts. They send me boxes of seeds or bones or stones. So I'm very grateful for that. This is the new way that I'm receiving gifts. And the last thing that I will show is that I've been lucky. COVID brought me one part of COVID I already mentioned into the group. I got a small grant and I was able to produce a catalog. Here you have the name of the original people that inspired me, Selk'nam from Patagonia. And I was able to produce a catalog in English and then in Spanish. The lighter color is in Spanish, and these two good friends sent me pictures when they got the catalog. So I was happy to see that they read it and they sent me those pictures. And they are, of course, available, thank goodness, on Amazon. And this is my presentation. I don't know if anybody has any questions. And I think that I went for 5 minutes.
That's definitely double claps for content loaded and staying within 5 minutes. Bravo.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I love to be in this group, and I will mute myself. If there are questions, maybe at the end, okay?
Okay, or if anyone, I will read the comment. Ilse Schreiber, I think, gives you, Ilse Schreiber, no, the highest compliment. Alyssa, your work is wonderful and inspiring. It is a privilege to know you.
Oh, yes.
That's beautifully said. Fran Beallor wants to point out quite a few of the artists that have presented for the ATOA do have work in the show. Women Celebrate Women, and can sort of have to mention New York Artist Circle is quite a large part of that group, and many of New York Artist Circle have become quite a large part of our group. Jenna Lash says she likes the incorporation of nature and history in your art. You're doing both present moment, you're getting things from people, you're finding things, but you're aware of history, the importance of the past. And I think that's a beautiful tie through time.
Barry, I will say, I will take 1 more minute because this is very important to me. When I tie history, it's not about to know people by knowing them. It's just we are in a crisis. And I think that we have to learn some of the things that the people that lived before us, our ecological crisis is big and is very clear. So I'm researching and thinking that we can see how they live connected with nature and reuse everything and consume less. I'm not proposing to live in the forest, but I'm just proposing to review what history and our ancient people knew and bring that concept to our daily life. That's what I wanted to say. That's why I tied one with the other. And thank you again.
Beautifully said, as always. Fran Beallor says your work is evocative and powerful, Alyssa. Looking forward to seeing the show. We are going to move to Peg Reilly. Welcome, Peg. Nice to have you aboard. Always nice to have you. I'll ask you to unmute. I'll just remind everybody, this is ATOA, Artist Talk on Art. We've been around since 1975. We do this every Monday. We will be going live back to 12 West 12th Street. Come, I believe it's October 4th. It is the first Monday in October. Of course, it'd be nice to see everybody in person. So, welcome, Peg.
All right, thank you. Let's see. Zoom. I want to show you some images tonight of my sketchbook. Hold on. Okay. And I'm not sure what I did here. I lost. Okay. All right, let's open this. Okay, can you all see this now? Okay,
Yeah.
great. And you can hear me too, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. What I've been doing lately is, in the late afternoon, I'll go out in the backyard. I'll bring my sketchbook and a cup of tea and just, start drawing for a little while because I'm in between larger works and I find the sketchbook is a really good, risk-free place to just draw and sort out ideas. So this is what I've been doing. I just want to show you some of the drawings that I've been doing out there. This is charcoal pencil. And in the backyard, in my apartment building, there's 4 apartment buildings that come together to form this little park that you can enter from the outside and cross over and go back to the street. So it has a flower garden, and it has dog walkers and long benches. So it's an interesting place to just hang out. Here's another view. There's a children's playground there with waterworks, and they're always in there being happy. So it's a nice background noise, atmosphere. I've noticed the trees develop their own personality the longer you hang out with them. And this is another view. I brought my watercolors out. And it's another view. So this has watercolor and charcoal pencil. And now this is a view of the middle part of the garden. I'm playing around with this whole canopy of just a lot of leaves. So I'm starting to experiment with mixing media. So this has the charcoal pencil, oil pastel, little bits of colored paper that I made by hand, and gold, silver, and copper leaf that I'm learning how to work into my paintings. It's very reflective. If I tilt the page, you can see how reflective it is. And I think the trick to using this metal leaf is to figure out how much to use, where to use it, and to really incorporate it into the work instead of having it stand out in and of itself. Anselm Kiefer used gold leaf a lot. So, you can't really tell, but he was able to incorporate it into his work. So this is what I would like to do with a larger piece. And this is the last image. Again, my sketchbook isn't that big. It's something you can hold on your lap. And then I just have a little set of watercolors that are very portable. So it's it's nice to discover how much I can do with this. So this incorporates the watercolor charcoal pencil, pieces of colored felt glued down, and the gold, silver, and copper leaf all combined into one. So that's where I'm at these days, thinking about different possibilities. And that's it.
Thank you, Peg. I will say there are a lot of similar comments. They're all positive. I'm going to read them off. Alice Zinnes says, Peg, your drawing has so much life in it. And that's the one we're going to hear quite often. Monroe Hodder, love the darks. And that one piece where you have a very light, almost a white, then you have a very dark, and then you have that medium gray, works very well together. Mariah Cazoon, so much life and power in your drawings. And let's see, Alice Zinnes, Peg, great to feel your excitement through your experimentation. I can't say how often we've seen mature artists not follow what they've done before, but explore something new. And I think that's the drive that keeps us going and maybe keeps us young as well. Jenna Lash, nice little slices of life. That's often what studies are. And Barbara Sherman says, I love the notion of getting to know the personality of the trees. I might try that myself. That was a beautiful expression. And yes, we sort of hear things from other artists. We don't know how we absorb it, but it does sort of come out in our work or in our thinking. That's the sort of advantage of a group, that we sort of think together. We don't realize we are quite connected. And this sort of is an obvious example of that. And there will be, I think, very positive long terms from everybody who hears and listens to everybody. Andrea Henley, thank you for all these glimpses into your process. Fran Beallor, Peg, it is great to see your process and the development of your ideas. Mariah, again, very powerful works. Gunnar Mundheim, those are, I'm going to say wonderful, Peg. It reads woeful. Maybe she meant woeful. You know how it is with spell correct. I'll say they're wonderful. Sandra Indig, beautiful work. Combination of mediums is most sensitive. And I would say incredibly hard, especially when you go to metallics and as well when you go to felt. Naturally, they are not going to work. Klimt obviously is the master of working with gold. You'll see very few artists working with metallics. Elaine Solar, love the watercolors, very powerful. Fran, love the blue sky in the tree with the metal leaf collage piece. Sandra Indig, very nice, just says sensitive. I like that. And yes, Gunnar was saying those are wonderful. We're going to move on. And by the way,
I want to say thank you to everybody for your comments. I really appreciate it. Very encouraging. Thanks.
Monroe Hodder is going to present next. I want to say Monroe has not only presented a little bit in the past, but she has organized talks around women working with color. And I want to reach out to all of you. We have reformed our programming committee, and anybody who would like to present a panel that they have an idea for with artists, feel free to reach out to me and I will submit it to the committee. And so Monroe, I especially appreciate you as an artist, but of course, as an organizer, as you have been. Welcome, Monroe. I look forward to hearing and seeing your artwork.
Hi, Barry. No, I really enjoyed putting together those shows. It was great. So I'm just going to try to, this is the hardest part for me. I got right there. Okay. So, enter full screen. So like everyone else, I was isolated during the pandemic, stuck in my basement, and I began pulling out old canvases and working over them. This one is a big, I think it's 72 by 64 inch oil painting over an older painting that was a star. And I called it Life on Mars when I started out because of the red star. And then I was working on it this past February when we had that little Intrepid, was that the name of it? Going around Mars. And so I thought, well, it's great. I'm painting on Mars again. And I kept the name Life on Mars. So this is the last painting I did in my basement before I was able to go back and, oh, there's one more little one. Here's another little one that's got the same sort of packed format on a rather geometric base. You can even see the little lines I put in here. So then it was time for me to go back to my studio, which was in the Bronx, and luckily I'd been able to keep it. So I went back there and I really asked myself the question, what's next for you? You know, how are you going to break away and delve into something else? And I felt that I really wanted looser, more indeterminate space. And I wanted the marks to carry more meaning, more emotion. And so I started working, and if I was just for a while, you know, fooling around, not really getting anywhere. And then I did my first big painting, which is this one. And it's going to be, I'm going to have a show in a couple of weeks. And I hope this will be a good piece in the show. And I really enjoyed, this was actually another painting under there with these dripping kind of network structure back there. And I enjoyed leaving a lot of it empty and having that space feel like a kind of moving sea to me. And then the marks on top of it were like lights on waves, maybe, or maybe not that realistic, maybe just, you know, an abstraction of light. And so I ended up calling it Lighthouse and feeling, I would work on it like a little bit at a time, like just a piece here, a piece there, and then subtract, then start taking things out. My two favorite pieces actually are this upper left-hand corner and down here, where I pretty much left it empty. And this is actually from the old painting. So after a bit of a struggle, that's where I got. And then I sort of jumped into smaller paintings because I wanted to see what happened if I kind of took some playfulness and a less rigid format from that earlier one and moved around and just, you know, kind of let it go. And I actually did most of these paintings, each one in a day. And I also got really interested in the kind of pile up of marks and a lot of painting over some of my marks and thinking I was going to create total chaos, but I never got to total chaos, I don't think. And here's another one. This is called Dance Steps. So what I do is paint an acrylic background, and then this part on top is oil. And again, I was like working into how to move these strokes around and let them kind of dance in an energetic way. Then another one where I sort of slash through things. This was just a little bit earlier. And this is, I really like here I made a pink background and this blue and black are on top of pinks. So there's almost like there's no end to the colors in one little space.
I do want to read a few comments, Monroe. Sandra Indig, appreciate the breathing space in the newer work, like the idea of working over old paintings. Did painting over give you more freedom to be spontaneous?
Yes, it did.
Good insight, Sandra. Jenna Lash, are all the pieces a combination of oil and acrylic?
Pretty much. I like this kind of flat, bright color you can get with acrylic that's kind of design and even advertising like a little bit. And then the mushy depth that you can get with oils, that creamy, thick quality when you just run them into each other.
Barbara Sherman says, wow, these are so exuberant, so bold, and kind of delirious with color. I think delirious there is used in the best way possible.
Yeah.
And a few other comments. Mariah Cazoon, love the layering, painting over an older work gives so much depth, loves the color. And Fran Beallor, Monroe, it's fascinating to see how you work over old paintings, as I like the unlikely way a celestial body, Mars, and a lighthouse work their way into your very colorful art. I may have missed one comment, but I think you get the sense. Very nice. Feel free to present a little bit more.
Okay, there's a few more pieces. So I would say color is my drug of choice. And really, I mean, I do just get high on color. So this was called The Sky is Flesh. And I think, oh, yeah, oh, this is in here. So this is another big painting I did. This is 60 by 60. And it's called Late Sunrise Iceland, because I was there in a residency. And you know, I'm not sure where this is going. If it's things are going to get more isolated, or not isolated. If I'm going to separate things a little, or if it's going to be that overall feel that I used before. But I guess that's part of the fun, not having any idea where you're going. So moving along, that's it. Thank you.
You know, I will say often gems come out of artists' mouths, and Monroe, color is my drug of choice. What a great line. Fran Beallor picked that up. Teresa Valor, love your space, the space you create. It is quite interesting. And Audrey Anastasi, every time I see your work, I realize how much you have opened me up to appreciating pure abstraction. Really lovely work. And I think I missed the comment, but do have a look at the chat. We'll move on to Alice Zinnes. Is that good, Alice? Sorry, I didn't give you the warning. I'll try and give a warning in the chat. But Alice, welcome. Nice to have you join us.
Alice, you have to unmute.
Sorry, I thought I had unmuted. So I'll try to be fast because I probably have too many slides. So I really want to thank everyone for doing this and Barry for letting me come. I'm sorry I'm not often here because I teach usually when this is going on. But anyway, I'm just going to really quickly go through some of my slides. These are about 3 or 4 feet. These are oil paintings, just to give you a sense of what I do. And so what I wanted to do really quickly, since I don't think too many people here know my history, is I wanted to give a little bit of that. So I went to the studio school and I was really interested in, as many of the students there were, of Cezanne and Giacometti, and I painted landscapes. I was really also, I came out of math and I loved chaos theory and that sense of pattern and how the repetition of small things and the speed at which things change all the time, they add up to what it is in reality. These are really long paintings. In the winter, I would paint these still lifes that were these very complex silk flowers that I really saw as colored landscapes. But I was aware that my paintings are pretty abstract, even though I was working observationally, and I thought there was a lot more going on in them than just copying what I saw. I had read a book by Philosophy in the New Key by Suzanne Langer, where she really talks about the rhythm as being the crux of what creates the message in art. And that was really, whoops, I don't know what happened there. That was really important to me. So I wanted to give you a sense of, so then these are what I'm doing now. And
Sorry to interrupt, Alice.
yeah.
Are you're talking as though we're seeing an artwork, but we're not seeing any
Oh, we're not
artwork.
sharing. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. You know, I'm so out of it. I'll start. I'm sorry I took up too much time then, because I'm going to have to start again. So let me share the screen. Thank you for letting me know. I am talking like you. Can you see it now?
Not
It's
yet.
coming. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, now we can.
Okay, so I am so sorry. So let's just see if I can go through this kind of quickly. I really, really apologize about that.
Thank you, Fran.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So these are the paintings that I do now. That again, they're oils and they're like 3 or 4 feet. Then this is that older landscape that I had done when I was, I guess I was finished with school, but soon after that, just to give you a sense of how I saw the landscape. This is the very complex still life of silk flowers that I'd made. And so now we're back to what I'm doing now. And I work from something I've read, generally mythology. And much as the way the landscape earlier had been sort of a lyrical starting point for me, and something I would refer back to if I had trouble with the painting itself. The myth is really a lyrical starting point where if I have trouble with the painting, I go back to the myth or the story or the poem, whatever it is that I'm working from. And I think it's pretty obvious I'm not trying to make a literal representation of what's happening in the story. This one just before, that was from Ovid's, no, this is from the ancient Roman novel, The Golden Ass by Apuleius. It's the only extant ancient Roman novel. This one is also from that same novel. I'm not obviously trying to copy a literal or create a literal translation of the story. I'm trying really to grasp what is the emotional content, the emotional drama of what I feel is going on in the story. I think that mythology has lasted through so many gazillion years because it hits at really fundamentally human emotions. And I find in when I exhibit my work, sometimes there'll be people who will come up to me and say, you know, I generally don't like landscape painting. I can't understand abstract painting. I don't really like it. I don't get it, but I really respond to these. And I think that's because I'm really a landscape painter, even though they look pretty abstract. I have a ground plane. I have something that's sort of like sky. I have light that moves through that kind of makes sense somewhat realistically. And that's because these are narratives. All these little things that look like focal points, they are people, they're things, and there's something going on very specifically, but I don't really want you to know what that is. I want you to make your own dream. I want you to come up with something on your own. And so I also make watercolors. These are much smaller. They're like, I don't know, 12 inches or a little bit bigger than that. Same kind of thing. They're responding to what I've read and trying to recapture that sense of what is the emotional drama of the thing that I've read. So I wanted also to give a sense of my drawings. So this is probably a bigger picture that you're seeing than what it actually is. It's made on a 4x6 inch piece of paper. It's pen and ink, and then I just colored some yellow on top of it. I'm trying to do the same thing, but most of my drawings, I'm really trying to also understand what it is about that story that I'm responding to that's going to help me make a painting. And it's a really unclear process to me because my drawings don't really look like the paintings at all, which I'll show you in a minute or two. So this is a charcoal that's larger. It's probably like 36, 37 inches wide on color tinted paper. And I really use these, since drawing is such a direct process as compared to painting, where you have to mix paint and in the neck. The drawing really helps me understand what I want to say. So I want to go to this painting and just show you, like, this is the drawing that I made for this painting to help me understand the painting. And even though there's some similarities, like there's a diagonal thing in the middle, it's like a dark area on the left, it's just not the painting. It's very different. And that's why I can't really understand what, I just know these drawings are really important to me. For this painting, this is one of the drawings that I made for it, and it has sort of that diagonal movement meeting sort of in the middle with this kind of light thing, but they don't look the same. But it's really important. The drawings give me a grounding that I can refer back to. The painting takes so long to make that it's sometimes hard to just remember what it's all about. And so the drawing can help me a little bit. Now this watercolor was made for the same painting. So it's like, all these things are for the same story, and they all, they feed on each other. And so this painting, here's one of the small ink drawings that I did for it. And then here's another ink drawing I did for it. So like, they're really different. Like the drawings
Alice,
are really
I'm going to jump in and read because there are so many good comments, and you're going to have more time to present.
Okay.
Mariah Cazoon, so much poetry. Well said. Lois Bender, hi Alice. I feel like these have a large scale and some of the turbulence of Turner, action in space and a narrative. I want to know what happened in the space. Mariah Cazoon again says, your works are like revelations. Barbara Sherman, I do get a sense of the story in your work. That's so interesting. Love these watercolors. Rachel O'Shaughnessy, Alice, your paintings are eloquent and engaging, and the emotional impetus for the works is intriguing, as shared. Moving works. Judith S. Miller, I immediately saw these as landscapes. Excellent. Wendy Liss says the work is extremely powerful, expressive, and mysterious. And I'd have to agree, you know, when you can have your work be mysterious, it makes the viewer sort of say, I can't place it, and wheels start spinning. Of course, there are many contemporary artists, the work is not mysterious. There's never one formula for art, but there certainly is that formula where you present something and it's somewhat not recognizable and identifiable, and you have to sort of search. Gunnar says, a wonderful sense of life. She asked the scale of your paintings. I sense they're 3, 4, and 5 feet.
Yeah, they're about 3 or 4 feet.
And Lori Horowitz says, Alice, your work is stunning with so much depth, movement, and power. And you're so right. You're capturing two different things in your drawings and your paintings. And that's totally fine. They're totally different games. As we all know, you know, I've got to say the drawings are quite amazing. I'm a fan of the paintings, but there's no question about it. You're somewhere in Sfumato and Rembrandt in your drawings. You are sort of nailing that. And of course, we all know drawing tends to be freer, you know, whereas brushwork, constantly reloading, you know, it's a stilted approach. Drawing, you can sort of let it rip, you know, and you can do certain things you can't do. Jenna Lash says, your work is filled with dramatic poetry. Again, a reference to poetry. Olga Alexander, love the atmosphere in your work. Again, sort of hinting at Turner right there. Very nice. Do continue. Sorry to interrupt.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for all those comments. I mean, they're really kind of hitting me home, and there's so much of what I'm intending. And so the Rembrandt, yes, Rembrandt has been my mentor since graduate school. And I have many stories about my relationship with Rembrandt. And so thank you for picking that up. And this is my last slide. I just wanted to show people that I still do work representationally sometimes. I love drawing people on the subway. So it's one of my subway drawings. And I really miss that from COVID. So I just really thank everyone for your comments, and I am aiming for, that poetry. My mom was a poet, and maybe, I'd like to think that somehow I'm feeding her through me into my paintings. So thank you so much for saying that. I don't know if I did that in 10 minutes, but I hope I did.
I love the way you rushed through it. That was great.
I really tried. I hope anyone could take it in.
I think we could. And, that last comment you made about your mother sort of gives another context, certainly a deep, warm context. You don't know how many times we've had artists mention grandparents or grandchildren, the sort of linkage between the past and the future. And again, we're connected, and it's good to know what we're connected to, whether it's a tree, that it is alive, it does have a neural network, or whether it's mushrooms and the mycelium underneath the ground. We are much more connected. And I think all the artists here are bringing that out. Elise Margolis says your work is beautifully mesmerizing. Fran Beallor says Turner, mystery, atmosphere, poetry, drama, Rembrandt, revelations, all perfect words for your work. And Barbara Sherman has picked up your ink drawings are Rembrandt-like. And after all, Rembrandt's not a bad guy to copy. And she does note that's if he was an abstractionist. I wonder if they even knew what that was back then. So very nice. Thank you again. Beautiful work.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. It's really been a pleasure to show people and get that confirmation of what I'm trying to do.
Excellent. We're going to move to Olga Alexander. Welcome, Olga. Again, I just want to remind everyone, this is Artist Talk on Art, the ATOA. We do this every Monday. We'll be going live in October, back to our location at 12 West 12th Street. This will be continuing up until then and after then as well. And again, thank you all for your time. Olga, pleasure to have you. I do want to thank Olga. She's not only presented before, but she has sent ideas for talks. And of course, right away they became talks. The Bill Dershowitz book that was discussed, that was Olga's suggestion. And of course, I threw her into moderating, and you did a brilliant job moderating that. And so as well, I think Olga turned us on to the telephone project, which happened last week with Nathan Langston. And so thank you. Keep in mind, everybody, you can present, but you can also reach out, say what's topical, whatever you like. If you like, pass it to me. I will present it to the board. Our planning committee is back. It's alive and running, and we look forward to your thoughts. So welcome and thank you, Olga.
Well, thank you, Barry. You're very generous. It was really a pleasure getting all of the other artists kind of together and talking to you about them. What I thought I'd present tonight is really three pieces that are going to be in the Montclair Museum and in the Studio Montclair in New Jersey, and I invite everyone to come out. And so I'll share a screen right now, if I may. Let's see, where is it? Share the system. Okay, not doing it this time. Okay, for some reason it's not doing it.
I told you we'd have technical difficulties. I never lie.
Oh, no, okay. I go to share screen. I'm doing it right, aren't I? Google, let's try that.
Sometimes just give it a minute. You know how computers.
Okay. Yeah, I get very impatient. Let's see. Google Drive.
Olga, what do you see when you hit share screen?
I see a bunch of files, desktop.
Yes,
one,
so you have to choose the
whiteboard.
one. You have to choose the right one that has your
Yeah,
work
but
in.
I don't see one that pertains to me. I see desktop one.
Desktop one's usually the winner from what I find.
Okay, and then I'll click on Open System Preferences from that.
Try it.
Yeah, I did. I get you.
It's not. No, we don't see anything yet.
Okay, I didn't think so. I don't know.
Do you have the artwork open already?
I do have a file open already, yes.
And you
So
don't see it in one of the little squares?
I don't. which is surprising. System preferences in there, let's see that. It's not happening. Maybe, I don't know, what do I do?
If you want, we can come back.
Yeah, why don't you do that? Because I hate to hold up everything.
I'd say we'll come back.
Okay.
You feel free to keep trying it.
Okay.
If you like, Fran has always been sort of tech support. If you want to send an image or two to Fran, email her, maybe Fran will share her screen.
Okay.
That's always a possible solution.
Okay.
I can do that. I only have till 7:25, so
Okay.
we do that.
Okay.
All right.
And then
I'll try to
will.
do that.
All right, we'll let you jump in as soon as it happens.
Okay.
Gunnar Mannheim, Gunnar, we'll move to you. Does that sound good? Let's see. Gunnar.
Is Gunnar here?
I am searching. Maybe not. Maybe she left. Thomas Demick. We'll go to Thomas then. It's sort of a nice follow-up because all the references to Rembrandt in the last work that we saw by Alice, certainly when Thomas has presented his photography before, I think you'll see a nice link here. I like to refer to him as the Rembrandt of photography. So welcome, Thomas.
All right, thank you. Except I don't see what.
Oh, we see it.
Yeah, I know, but it's not the photos I wanted. Just give me a second.
Okay, take your time.
Strange. Oh, they should be all there and they're not, but that's life. Apologize for this.
Just a reminder, everybody, we are a 501c3. All of our talks are free. If you'd like to contribute, you can go on the web. Basically, you'll see my email. We can take money anyway. If you just want to throw us one Bitcoin, we accept that too. I do want to thank so many of the artists who are present tonight who have contributed to the ATOA. It helps us pay our bills for our website and for the operations and the operational things that are necessary.
All right. I just got back from the West Coast. I have been planning this trip for a long time. It was one of the things that kind of kept my sanity during the COVID thing. It gave me something to look forward to. So I'm just sharing stuff with you. This is a spur of the moment decision I made. So this is on the Olympic Peninsula. And I took some I photograph in black and white and color. I like both. I kind of like color more, but I can't ignore the black and white. It was just stunning out there. This is a picture of one of the beaches that I was at. Another one. And I'll have to skip somewhere else to find my favorite. So just give me a moment. And this one, of all the black and whites, this is the one I really like the most. It's probably my favorite image from the whole trip. I kind of identify with the person in the picture. Some people might think this is kind of a depressing scene. It's dark and dreary, but if I was the person there walking, I'd be so happy. It's just, I would be relishing the solitude, the fog. And just, as I said, the coastline out there is just breathtaking. I also did some color images, which I'll share. I like to add texture to my work. I'll just go quickly.
You know, I can't but point out how painterly these photographs are. They're really beautiful. You have a sort of serenity in the work, and you have a sense of isolation as well. You've got some deep emotional qualities that you capture here. Very nice, Tommy.
Well, I do enjoy solitude quite a bit. It's, some people find it, but it's just me. I just like the solitude, and I'm just overwhelmed with the beauty. And I don't intellectualize about my photographs that much, but I'm just hoping that the serenity and my feelings for the surroundings come through. It was interesting, that snow in the background. And right after Washington State, I had an airplane ticket I had to use up to Orlando, Florida, to visit my grandkids. And I was telling my grandsons how, and this is Florida, that I was just walking through the snow, and they're little, they were very impressed. And I'm going to show you these again. I'm sorry, I'm just going in order. I had to skip around. And I do enjoy putting people into the pictures, but mostly just as staffage, not as, they're not individuals. It's just a person there. Because your eye always goes to the people in a photograph. I believe that's about it. If you have any questions, thank you.
Thank you, Thomas.
And how do I end this again?
Oh, I did it.
Oh, you did. Thank you.
I'm good at that. Ilse Schreiber-Knoll gives you a high compliment. You are the Caspar David Friedrich of photography. Very nice. Barbara Sherman, these are poetic and poignant. They evoke awareness of the threat to the earth. Elise Margolis, stunning work. And let's see, Ilse Schreiber-Knoll, incredible, Thomas. I especially love the black and white. Oops, that's Daisy. Elisa says, Thomas, your work showing the power of nature. Robin Halperin says, Thomas, your work as usual is stunning, beautiful light and serene mood. And thank you, Alice Zinnes says, Thomas, I can see what Barry meant by mentioning Rembrandt with your work. Stunning light, so evocative. Marcia Annenberg, gorgeous light. It's nice when all the artists sort of pick up on the same theme. Understand we are basically light. That's one way to look at us. And so we've had many artists present, many painters talking about capturing light. I think most photographers will agree they are working with light. I'm going to try something that is probably impossible, and I'm going to try and share Olga Alexander's images. This is what I call guaranteed to fail, but I will try.
You can do it, Barry. I know you can.
Yes, I know I can, but I'm going to do this to help.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no, you got it. So let's see, share screen. Desktop.
It's gonna be really quick. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. This is one of them. This is called Feminine Transcriptions and Dislocation about Dislocations in Urban Flesh. And it will be showing at the Montclair Museum in September, where they had a call about objects, taking an object, redoing it, reconfiguring it, and putting it in a different context. And this body of work, really, this is just one piece of a large series in which I take old sewing patterns, I tear them up, I reconfigure them up, and I put them in a kind of different situation in terms of identity and landscape, since they suggested landscapes and blueprints in particular to me in the original state. And so, as I said, this is a big series that I have, but only one will be at the Montclair Museum. And then they're going to do something in conjunction with Studio Montclair, both in New Jersey, and that's where the other two pieces will be. Barry, if you could go to the other one. Oops. Not quite. There should be another one there.
Yeah, I just got one. If
Oh,
Fran,
okay. Yeah, there should be two other ones. But
do you want to send me a quick email?
I don't want to hold up anybody because I see that it's almost 7:30. So
You're actually our last presenter, so feel free if you want to do that. I'll read some things off the chat.
okay, I'm going to try to do that for you. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'll leave. Okay.
I will
Okay.
say Wendy Liss says it feels like a map. Love the color, texture, and movement. Sandra Indig asks, where were these? Oh, Sandra is actually asking of Thomas. Thomas, where were these wonderful photos taken? I think you mentioned California, yes?
No, the Olympic Peninsula in Washington State.
Okay. Mariah Cazoon just says incredible works, echoing, I think, all of our sentiment. And let's see if I got that yet. Not yet. I'll stop my share for a sec. Olga, do feel free to send it over. Oh, she's. And I'll give a check, see if I have it in just yet.
Okay.
And thanks for bearing. Oh, there it is. I see them
Right.
here. Thank you, Olga. I do see
Oh,
it.
thank you.
I do
Thank
see
you.
it. Now let's see.
Yeah,
I'll
there
go
should
to
be
screen share. And this is going to work. Let's say share screen. Up, up. Ooh, impressive. Impressive.
So here's one, and this one will be at Studio Montclair, and it's really three pieces all put together, and it's part of a larger installation, which is typically how I work. I'm in the process right now of kind of rearranging the furniture in my head. And as I rearrange them, they take on a different context for me. And that enables me to jump off to another set of, to another installation or another body of work. And I always rely on that rearranging and reconfiguring and using diverse materials, in this case, springs, bed springs, and a platform, and putting that together. Certain ideas are what drive my work throughout, and they have many different entry points. Fragments, identity, fluidity in terms of concepts and pertaining to identity, and kind of a neurological impetus and where that goes. So a lot of my ideas allow a lot of different entry points that I explore when I do installations. But within those installations, I have pieces like this where I can extract and then allow those pieces to take me down another avenue. And I'll show you another older piece in which that happens, which is called Apertures. Apertures is obviously, very different from the other two pieces that I've shown you, but along the concepts are all there. I garbled text from Sylvia Plath's novels. I did it on a computer, And then I photo silk screened them on plexiglass with PVC. And I also added some of my own photographs to it. This ended up being one of 5 sculptures called Apertures. And then I tried to really put them into a big tower. And again, what I do with a lot of these sculptures, I'll reconfigure them and put them into another body of work. Sort of like what a writer would do. They would take a sentence, add to it, extract it, edit it, and then add some other stuff. So I do that with the body of my work. And as I said, right now I'm in the process of just evaluating some of the strands that I like in my work to make a whole other jump. And I don't know where that jump is going to take me, but anyway, you're all welcome to come to New Jersey and Studio Montclair and the museum, Montclair Museum for September. So I hope I see you there. Thanks, Barry. Thanks for putting up with all this. Okay.
Thank you, Olga.
Thank you.
We definitely made that happen. And I want to thank all of you. I do want to read just a quick couple of comments. Elise Margolis says, Olga, your color, balance, and composition are perfection. Makes me want to dive into the piece and explore. You know, I do want to thank, there was something present tonight. There was this sort of mutual support. It was obvious. We're all sharing. We know as artists, we're all exposed when we show our art, right? Someone could say it's bad, it's wrong. You're putting yourself out, you're taking risks. And I think that's what's really special, that we come back and we sort of reward the risk. And also, like I've said before, it sort of feeds all of us to sort of hear new ideas, but also to share and to be a supportive group together. It's something that's missing a little too much. There are a lot of themes that were mentioned tonight, whether it was nature, whether it was important of being eco-friendly, the environment, or just an artist and their materials. I can't help but comment on something Thomas said, that he doesn't really think, and he sort of does. About 2 weeks ago, we had a 12-year-old present at the ATOA, and there were a couple of questions thrown at him about whether it was his influences or what does he thinks to come next. And he had the perfect response. And it basically said, he doesn't think like that. He's a 12-year-old, he does art. And I think, again, there's no one formula for how you approach art, but sometimes we approach art by doing, and we don't even know what we're doing until 3 years later, certainly with our most current work. That's what I seem to find happens a lot. I want to thank you all. This has been great. This is, I think we've come together nicely. So many new faces. Thank you all. As I always say, your time is your most valuable commodity. Sharing that with us sort of builds our group, and I find that very valuable. This talk will be up on our YouTube site. You can take a look at atoanyc.org for the links. The YouTube site is our full name, Artist Talk on Art. Thank you so much, everybody. I think a great night, and we'll be doing this again if you didn't get a chance to present. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's fabulous. Thank you.
It was a great
you.
evening.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Barry, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you,
Yes,
Wendy,
I
so
say the
much.
same. Thanks for the opportunity.
It was great to see everybody and get a chance to share.
Ditto, ditto.
It's like food for the
Yeah,
soul.
your work, Alice, is fabulous.
Thank you so much. Wow, thank you.